part two of our BVI Bareboat Charter. We're actually presenting this to impart our experience to you folks, so in case you decide to do the same thing, you might learn from some of the things that we learned along the way to good orientation. Okay, now we're going to go to, these are the items I want to cover. I'm going to recap part one, just for refreshing things. We may bring back some questions that weren't asked the first time around, so we're going to go through a brief recap. Then we're going to go through some of our BVI highlights, a few pictures, and so forth. And then we'll talk about sailing a catamaran. We're going to compare a catamaran versus a monohull, based on our opinions. And then boat selection options that you have with moorings, the cost, how much it costs us, and how you might be able to save some costs in the future. And then we'll finish it off with some questions and answers. So in terms of the recapping, in the last session we talked about how we selected our boat. Okay, we required 5 cabins, and we wanted to have a catamaran, and we wanted to be a brand new boat, and we achieved those objectives. We also showed a video tour of the boat details, so you could get an idea of what the boat is like. We also showed a video on tips on operating a twin screw boats. Okay, and I thought, for myself, I thought that was very helpful in my learning experience, and we really had no problem in controlling this boat. We also went over the provisioning and how we did it, and we might want to discuss that in case anybody has any questions. We discussed the moorings, boat orientation, where they basically come on and teach you all about the details of the boat, and then they take you out and make sure you can raise and lower the sails. Okay, and then we outlined the course that we were going to follow and the reason why we're going to follow that course. And then I think we got to the end where we were talking about having a buffet at Foxy's, which, by the way, we strongly recommend that if you ever go down there, don't miss going to Foxy's. Everybody had a great time. So now we'll go back and start our presentation. We're basically going to show you some of the highlights. We finally got underway on Saturday morning at about 11 o'clock. Okay? When I say got underway, that's when we had the total control of the boat. We slept on the boat the night before, and I think that that's a distinct advantage. We got all our provisions packed away, we got familiar with the boat, we had a good night's sleep, and because we were all ready to go, we had a captain come on board early on, and then he took us out and showed us how to run the boat, and we dropped him off to a dinghy. Okay, he went back, and we were on our way. So this is around 11 o'clock. Now, if we had not done it that way, there's a good possibility we wouldn't have gotten away from the dock until 3, 4, maybe even 5 o'clock. We've had family members who've done this before, and they really sort of lose that first day. So sleeping on the boat the night before, we thought was very beneficial. Here's some of the views that we had, by the way. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail on this because this is really not sort of a travelogue as much as it is trying to impart some of the experiences we had. But that first day, we went from, I don't know if you can see my pointer and so forth, but we were over and around in this area, okay? And then we actually sailed and came all the way down to here. And we're at Little Yost Van Dyke, and this is Tortola in the background, and Cane Garden Bay, which is a moon-shaped bay, is like right over in this area here. We spent one night in the Bight, okay, on Norman Island, and I was struck when we got in there to see all the catamarans. Look at all the catamarans. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, there is one monohull. Okay, so obviously you can see the popularity of the catamarans down there these days. This is a picture of the Bight, and they have these caves. Whoopsie. Okay. They have these caves where you can snorkel in, and like you can hardly see it maybe in this picture, but basically there's a lot of fish. The water is clean, clear, and so it's excellent snorkeling. This is another good snorkeling location. This is called the Indians. Just outcroppings, upcroppings, outcroppings of rock, and you can see these boats moored behind here. They're all on moorings, okay? And this picture probably was taken from right about there. This is the bass. The bass consists of a series of very large boulders that are just sort of piled on top of each other, which allows you to walk underneath them and in between them. And it's a very pretty sight when you get underneath all these rocks and the sun is coming down and on very white sand and crystal clear water. Nice spot, very popular. Here's Foxy's. This is a place that you don't want to miss. We went there on a Saturday night. On Saturday night they have a buffet, okay, with a large plate and all sorts of Caribbean food. It's a place that you just don't want to miss. And you know, these are our dancers, okay. The guy had behind them had continuous music, never took a break, and just music, music, music all night. Really enjoyable. Oh, there we are. That's part of the gang, not all of the gang. You can see all the stuff hanging down there from Fox's. It's quite a unique place. Um, some of us, I think my son Steve and Ann visited this place. This is a rum store, a rum bar. Each bottle contains a different type of rum. I never knew there was so many different rums, but there they are. Just gives you an idea of some of the unique places down there in the BVI. This is from the Bitter End, okay? The Bitter End was one of the first places down there. Was always a destination to sail up the up towards them and have nice dinner or a drink there. Unfortunately, they got severely hit with the hurricane, and they're still in the process of rebuilding. But the view is good, and I guess a lot of the reconstruction has happened there. And right across the way is a place called Saba, Saba Rock, depends on how you want to pronounce it, I guess. But basically, it's just a small outcropping rock, and they built this very nice bar, and they have some rooms and so forth. You can stay there. That's a very nice facility. Very tropical. This is Marina Key, and this is the picture you saw at the beginning. But I wanted to show that to you, but just to give you an idea of what this is. This is a large reef that goes all the way across, and then you can anchor behind the reef, and it's very nice. The wind is always blowing, nice breeze, and as you look across, all you see is water all the way across the sound to Virgin Gorda. Now you can see that people are anchored here. Well, they're probably not anchored. They're probably on moorings. And that brings up another subject, and that is mooring balls. In the BVI, there are several different types of moorings that are available. Close to like the caves and the snorkeling area, they have small white floats, okay? And these are just for dinghies, and you just tie up there and it's free. Okay. Also, they have moorings for large boats. These are sort of small red buoys. So you just go up there, and when it's available, you pick it up, and you don't have to anchor and destroy the ocean floor. Then for overnight, they have some white, large floats, okay, which is probably about this size as a red one is there, and that's on a first come first served basis. So if you get there and there's a white one, you can go and take it, and it's yours. A fellow will come along later on and collect your $35. The other system that they have are called boaty balls. Okay? These are large red or orange looking balls, and they have numbers on them. You can see that they cost $55 a night. The way this works is you use your cell phone early in the morning, okay, and you go and try to get a mooring, okay, in a particular destination that you want. It's very competitive, and you have to do it quickly, otherwise you lose the opportunity. Uh, my son Steve would get his phone out and get everything all set up, and we'd have two locations we would go to. One would be the primary one, and then if you can't get in there, it would go to an alternate. We knew that ahead of time. And at 7 o'clock, so probably about 7:01, he would click and get in. And it's amazing how fast these things went. So if you ever go down there, okay, look into the Bodie ball and figure that into your costs. Because it's well worth it. The advantage of having the Bodie ball is that when you start out in the morning, if you have a reservation, you can spend the whole day doing whatever that you want to do, knowing that when you get to your destination, you'll have a place to moor. Otherwise, if you're going for the large white ones and so forth, then you say, well, should I leave? It's 2 o'clock. Should I go now or should I go later? And it's always a chance. So anyhow, the Bodie balls work out very nicely for us. Okay. So now I'm going into sailing a catamaran, or a comparison between the catamaran and a monohull. Obviously, one of the major differences is the way the boat rides. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and you'll see how the boat rides. It basically sort of floats. It doesn't heel. Okay, it doesn't do anything but just sort of float. It's entirely different, obviously, than the monohull. And that's it. Okay. Just want to point out one thing while we're looking at this particular picture. Okay, you see these hand soap and detergent bottles sitting on the counter. They sat upright during our entire week. They never tipped over. That gives you an idea of how flat these catamarans are. So we compare the catamaran. Oops, I keep doing that. There we go. Compare the catamaran to the monohull. In the catamaran, basically you're going faster. Okay, you're really going faster, but you have less sense of speed. In a monohull, okay, you really think that you're hauling along, you're really going fast and so forth. And we're doing maybe about 5.5 at that time, and we're quite heeled over, as you can see. But this trying to figure out why we don't have this sensation of speed. Well, I think the reason is that we're like way up in the air. I figured that my head level and so forth was probably a good 12 feet, okay, 12 foot off the water. And so you don't hear the water, you don't get any spray. It's just, very, very calm. Here's another example on the left-hand side. I think Steve is at the wheel, trying to stay awake, probably, okay, because it's very, very relaxing. We're doing, between 7 and 8 knots at this time. Very calm as compared to. Okay. Uh, Believe it or not, I mean, this boat is 50 foot long, okay, but single-handed is a possibility. All the lines come into the, the area where you are, okay. Um, you have electric winches, so that makes it a lot easier. And you have an auto tack built into the autopilot. So you hit the auto tack and it'll swing you through a 90-degree angle, okay? And you can slack off and take in the sheets and so forth using the electric winches. It's very interesting because it has all the lines come into the same location, and you have the winches and the auto tack. Here are some of our impressions. It's stable, with no heeling, very relaxing, it's super comfortable, full headroom, spacious, roomy, high above the water. We had panoramic views from the cabin down below, flat like all the way around. Quiet, fast, easy to sail, easy to maneuver. Okay, it's like, and we were using push button sailing. Set up the autopilot, and then you go quick, go up a couple of degrees, quick to go down. We also enjoyed the air conditioning. We had a generator on board, and that ran quite a bit of the time, and so we had air conditioning whenever we wanted. Freshwater electric heads. We had water makers. The boat doesn't have a lot of capacity in terms of water, but it has a water maker, and we made water. We never had to stop at a dock and pick up any water. We enjoyed the electric grill. We had lots of power, lots of refrigeration space. We had the three refrigerators, and we used, I think, two of them. One of them was a freezer, and the other was a refrigerator freezer combination. The other one we used for drinks. We had no battery issues, 3-zone music, dimmable concealed lighting, and underwater lights. Some of our concerns were this, with the size of the boat, the forces are higher, okay? And you have to be very careful. You catch your finger between a line and the winch, okay? And the possibility that you might lose your finger. So you really have to sort of plan ahead and be careful with what you're planning on doing. Also, the lines are so long, and there's so many of them that they really get underfoot and it becomes difficult. So having someone else to give us a hand stowing the lines, curling them up, coiling them up, and so forth was handy. We also had these tow switches to operate the winches, and they were hard to operate. Hard to get your toes in there and push it while you're doing everything else. And when you're mooring, okay, you really can't see, where the mooring ball is because it goes underneath the trampoline. It's not like real sailing, there's no spray, noise is, very quiet. You kind of miss the real sailing in our boat. However, okay, at the end of the day, we all agreed, by the way, that the catamaran is a much better choice for cruising BVI. It's so spacious and stable and comfortable, and it has a lot of capacity. Very, very nice. Okay, so let's go through boat selection options. Moorings has tons of boats, okay, all different types, and they offer all different programs. And it's a little confusing. They have monohulls, they have power yachts, cruise yachts, they have exclusive plus, exclusive, and club. So let me see if we can make some sense out of some of this stuff. Basically, whoopsie, the first is you have to decide whether you want to go power or sail. Okay? Being sailors and so forth, we obviously took sail. Okay, but we were talking about, if we came down again, would we go sail or would we go power? And there's some discussion that it might be just as fine to do power, because basically you're not sort of sailing and cruising all the time. You're going from one destination to the other, so it could be done with that. power monohull or catamaran. You have to choose which one you prefer. And then the yacht class. The yacht class is basically exclusive plus, exclusive, or club. And these are based on the age of the boat. So if a boat is less than 1 year, it's called exclusive plus. If it's been in service 1 to 3 years, it's called considered to be exclusive. And then if it's 3 to 10 years, it's considered to be club. So you can, take your choice, whichever one you think is appropriate for you. They come in all different sizes: 50, 46, 45, 42, 40. Also, they have 5 cabins, 4 cabins, and 3 cabins. So you have to decide about what is appropriate for you. Also, from a crewing standpoint, okay, you want to go bareboat, okay, or you want it to be crewed. You can get a captain for the entire time, or I think they have a program where you can have a captain for just part of the time. So those are the options that moorings offer. So now let's go to the cost. So these are the costs that we incurred. A 50-foot boat, we had the exclusive deluxe plan plus. I'm not sure exactly what the plus is, but anyhow, we had that. And that's basically $20,000. We took the sleep aboard option, okay, for another 2,000. Okay, so we had five staterooms available for us, okay, for that first night. So the total was $22,037. And this included the boat and the digging, of course. We also had Wi-Fi. Well, let me explain that, but anyhow, Wi-Fi should be included. Damage insurance and fuel. An interesting thing here is that you never have to refuel the boat, okay? You take it out and you bring it back, and there's no charge for it. It's all part of the package. One of the benefits of that is that you don't have to worry about, be concerned about taking the boat up to the dock and getting it refueled. Okay. Likewise with the water, you don't have to worry about taking it up to the dock and get the water if you have the water maker on board. So, from my standpoint, that was a good thing because I was really anxious to take this boat up to the dock. Okay, to the above, we also added some toys. I think there's a kayak and a board, paddle board. And so I think our total came to $23,881. That didn't include eating out, obviously. Okay, so that would be added on. Now, I think to put this into perspective, okay, I broke this down to on a per person basis. Okay, so if you think of that cost, which seemed to be extremely high, and you break it down to on a per cost basis, it comes out to be $3,000 each. Okay, or if you had 4 couples, or if you had 5 couples, about $2,400 each. If you compare that with other cruises and other trips and so forth, I've been on some trips recently and so forth, and so this this figure, is really sort of reasonable, even though it looks like the total price is like way high. Moorings have sales and discounts. Okay, first of all, there's a seasonal pricing. Not sure exactly when it kicks in, kicks out. We got in more the summer pricing, okay, because I think we went the week after the pricing had changed. But something to look into if we're going to do it is find out what sort of seasonal pricing do they have. And periodically they have special offers, okay. After we had done our charter and stuff, we didn't really realize that they had specials. And during the year, all of a sudden we see, oh, here you could take this boat and save 10%. We didn't realize that at the time. So if you're going to do it and you have the flexibility, and the patients. You basically say, okay, that's the boat we want. Let's hang it back a little bit until a specialist comes along. They also have, I think, a 5% discount if you're an alumni. So if we go back again, another discount. In addition to all the above, they have individual discounts on certain packages that they offer. And like right now, they're offering one, and they claim it to be 20%. So I don't know whether things are down and they're offering it at a premium discount, okay, or whether they have these discounts periodically. But it's something to watch out for. Okay, well, I think that basically covers everything except the Q&A. So if anybody has any questions and so forth, can we entertain them? Marty?
Yeah, just if you want to ask a question, unmute your microphone. If people would like to see their video, you can run your video as well, just to show faces on this and take questions, Ted.
Okay.
By the way, he has Steve and Ted sons on this same call, so there's other people that can answer questions.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, this is a shy audience.
I guess so. Okay. So
I'd like to ask a question.
Sure.
When you got provisioning, what exactly did that cover?
Well, I mean, we had laid it out, or they had laid it out for a certain number of meals, okay? So it covered all the meals that we were going to have on the boat. We did plan to eat off, I think, twice. So it covered all the meals up into that. It also included liquor, okay, and, drinks. Peg or Herb, do you have any suggestions along that line? Or Steve?
I think they're struggling to unmute their microphones. This is Nick, by the way.
Oh, hi, Nick. How are you?
This is Steve. The provisioning, it was mostly covered. I think we picked up a few items on the way in also just to supplement, but that pretty much covered all the major meals. And like my dad said, it was 2 times we ate out dinner, but it worked out great.
Great. I have a quick question. What were your wins? Since you were so flat, what were your average wins? And did it die down at night, or did you have winds all through the night?
I think the average wins were probably around 15 or so.
Okay.
Steve, you agree? Okay.
Yeah.
I think some nights, we had one night where we had some weather, okay? We were up by the bitter end, up in that area there, and we had torrential rains. And we woke up in the morning, we were fine, everything was fine. We looked out, and we had waterfalls coming down the mountainside, okay, which are very unusual there. We were quite dry as a bone, frankly. That was about the only weather that I can remember we had at night. And the winds, when you go to anchor and so forth, you're in fairly protected areas, so we didn't notice any adverse winds during the night.
Were there any places that you especially enjoyed, either snorkeling or going ashore? Were there places that were just really fun or beautiful?
Steve?
I think I really enjoyed Cooper Island. It's small, but they have really nice restaurant there, and they had the rum bar as well, which is really very interesting. They had like rums from all over the world, so that was a cool kind of like
Right, stop off.
Yeah.
Cool.
Another interesting one. This is Herb, Ted's son. Was the bubbly pool over on Use Van Dyke. It's where water kind of rushes between rocks from the windward side of the island, and then kind of pushes into a pool and the water kind of goes up and down in the pool. Apparently it can get pretty dangerous at times, but when we were there, it was pretty calm and kind of fun.
Ted, how many people were on board?
Okay, we originally had planned it for 9, okay, and as it turned out, right before we were going to have this, my son and daughter-in-law came down with a very bad respiratory bug, and they couldn't make it. Okay, so we were 7.
And it was very comfortable with 7, and probably would have been with 9.
Yeah, I mean, so he's saying that because that spare bunk, we filled that all up with boxes and all sorts of suitcases and like that. So that was our clutter area. So.
Yeah.
But,
What was the total time that you're out?
say again?
What was the total time that you're out?
It was a week charter, okay, so it goes from Saturday to Saturday, but we slept on the boat the night before, so it was we got on Friday at 6 o'clock. They don't let you on until 6, and when we went on the boat, there's all these boxes. All the provisioning was like right on the boat. All we had to do was put it away, took an inventory, checked it against the inventory, found out what was short or whatever we needed and so forth, so we could take care of that before we left the next day. It worked out extremely well. Staying on the boat the night before, I thought was very, very good. I mean, it's maybe expensive, okay, but you probably end up having to stay someplace anyhow. And
Well, you may, let me ask that. No catamaran there, but there's no sunshine. Thank you.
Marty, did you hear that?
And it was garbled. I couldn't hear it. And I think he's just dropped off. Oh, no, he's
Let
there.
me try that again. I
Yes.
said it's been several times.
Doc, you're breaking up.
Yeah, that's my voice, I think.
Still not so good.
Ted?
He was telling that we had gone with the McCabe's a number of years ago and did that cruise.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Nice place, isn't it?
Yes.
Ted, did you ever anchor or did you grab moorings every night?
We anchored for like the morning of the second day. We went over to a small island, uninhabited island. It's interesting to sort of walk around it. And that we anchored successfully without any difficulty. And that was the only time we anchored. Most of the, I mean, I was there, 30 or 40 years ago, okay? And where we anchored, there are now these mooring fields. So a lot of the anchorage area is taken up with the mooring fields now.
Yeah, I'd add you really have to plan for the moorings, because if you didn't, I'm not sure what you would do.
Well, I think Herb, right, Herb, you went a number of years ago, and you had to look for moorings, and you started looking at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, yeah, you have to get there very early, and really this go around, there's so many mooring balls, there was just no place that you could anchor, I think, at least safely. So you definitely have to plan on the mooring balls, and you want to call early. Or how'd you do that, Steve? You did that online?
Yeah, the Bodie ball, you get on your, online, and 7 a.m. you do it. You can see it has a map, and you'll see them just disappear. Like people just boom, 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 boom. And then we got one every time I think we tried. And it's nice because then you can casually work your way to the anchorage as opposed to having to rush there and get one of the white balls, which are first come, first serve. So it's well worth it, I think, at least in my opinion, to do it. Takes that hassle and worry out of it.
Ted, what time of the year did you take this trip?
I think it was around May 10th last year. Yeah, about early, about the first week in May, I think, right after the schedule had,
And were there regattas going on at that time? And there's a lot of traffic, boats in the area?
there's a fair number of boats. Yeah, I mean, I think the day that we were there, what did they send out about 40 boats? See?
Yeah, there was that. Wasn't that the boat
Boat
US regatta or whatever that was?
I think it was a
Well,
Boat US flotilla where they
Yeah.
chartered out to a number of people and probably 20 some boats. And they all came out at the same time. So we did the opposite direction that
Wow.
they were going in, and seemed to avoid them everywhere.
That was good.
Right. Just one other thing I want to mention that when you go out, the captain goes out, and, you go through the routine to make sure you can run the boat, then he gets into the dinghy and leaves. Okay, when you come in, you call, he comes out in the dinghy, gets on the boat, and then he takes over and does all the docking. So you don't have to be apprehensive, as I was, okay, about the possibility of having to bring this boat into a dock.
What was the size of the dinghy that you had? Would it handle 10 people?
I don't know, 10, 8 maybe, but 6 for sure. But
The
10,
plate is usually stamped 5 on moorings and sunsail dinghies. The load plate.
Most
so,
cases, we had to take 2 trips if we're going ashore, drop people off and then go back out.
Right. It makes sense.
yeah, I think I'm thinking Foxy's, right? Where that's where we did a shuttle at that time,
Yeah.
and then all of the Saba.
So there are shuttles in many of the areas?
No,
Water
no,
taxis?
there's no shuttles. I'm saying that we shuttled our
Okay.
dinghy back and forth.
That I'd add that the dinghy setup on the catamaran is really nice. It hangs off these davits and you just push a button, the whole thing goes down, and then you just you unhook it. Then when you bring it back up, you just hook 2 things on, and that's it. It's very easy to use.
So, any further questions?
No, but I would like to, it's Rebecca. Dick Becker, I came across the information that from very long time ago, when you organized, I think it was Moorings, wasn't it? Moorings, and it was a club, you organized a club cruise?
That was Sunsail.
Oh, it was Sunsail, okay. Well, you ready to do another one?
We went in 2021 in December, and we did a catamaran 38-foot with Natalie and I and the kids and my son-in-law, the 5 of us, and we had a ball. We had a really good time.
There you go.
It was just shortly after COVID, so things were not as crowded, which was kind of nice. And a lot of the places weren't open yet from the hurricane damage. Like we went to Saba Rock, and that was really fun, but the moorings wasn't open yet. I mean, not moorings. Bitter End wasn't. The resort hadn't opened back up yet in December of 2021 because of the hurricane damage. Marina Key was not there. Basically, that was completely wiped out in the hurricane. So, but we missed a lot of good because we've been there like 9 times. So we missed a lot of places that we saw a long time ago because of the hurricane. The hurricane did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But we had a blast. We did catamarans twice. We did the catamaran in 2021, and then Natalie and I went down with some friends of ours, another couple, and we did a catamaran. And we actually were scuba diving too, so that was kind of neat to dive right off the boat. So.
Yeah. All right, I think I have one more picture. I'll see if I can find it. Okay. What did we do after dinner? Okay, just to give you an idea. The boat had underwater lights. And so we would turn on the underwater lights, and that would attract the small fish, and small fish would attract bigger fish, and that would even get bigger fish. So what you're looking at there are tarpon, I think. I think that they're about, I guess pretty close to 30 36 inches long, and they were coming up to the surface. I mean, if we had a net, you would think that we might have been able to capture them. But you can take a look down, look how clear the water is, and you see some sort of odd shapes when they were when they're going along. They'd actually roll on their side, and I guess maybe to look up, to look down. I'm not exactly sure why, but they would roll on their sides, and they have a silver body, and you see flashes of silver, okay, left and right. It was very fascinating to watch.
Well, that's
Oh, I see.
Hey, Nick, you got your video on?
I do. I just disconnected, but I'm back now. I don't know if video is reconnected. But I can give you a little spin around Ocean Star if you want. Please mind we were just in a 3-month refit. And the boat is still a bit of a mess. So we did a lot of steel work, a lot of plate replacement and stuff. So it was a bit of a mess, but I can give you a little spin around the boat.
your video is not running, Nick. Oop, I think he just got blown off.
Yeah, I think he has
Yeah.
spotty internet down there on the boat.
Right.
It's slip wet, right?
Okay. Well, he's in again, but his video's not running.
Yeah, I think I keep disconnecting.
Yeah.
Pretty bad signal where I'm at.
Yeah, you probably don't have enough bandwidth to hold a video. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably.
Okay. We're just have to come down and visit you to see what this boat is all about. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just Google Seamester and Seamester Ocean Star and look at the images. It's the black hull schooner with a white gunnel, red bottom, and 2 masts. That's the boat.